guys? Thanks so much for clicking on the video. My name is Leah, and let's recap and review Real Housewives of New Jersey. This is season 14, episode 6. So let's get into it. So before we get into it, I'm gonna just be honest. I'm over this season. Reboot everything, hit the reset button, because honestly the vibes are not vibing anymore after watching the trailer for Real Housewives of OC, and it got me so excited. And it's been a minute since a Real Housewives show has got me excited. I was just like, this is lackluster. And then the first episode of Real Housewives of Dubai to me was so like, the energy was different, that I'm just kind of like, ugh, this season is like, when you get a variety pack of like chips and it's Fritos left in the chips. Now, like, if I'm hungry, I'll eat the Fritos, but if I can choose something else, if there's some sour cream and onion, some salt and vinegar, some barbecue, the purple Doritos bag in there, I'm not going for Fritos. And that's where I'm feeling right now. Okay. This season is Fritos and I'm over it. But I'm going to get my way through it, because I'm the type of person that if I start something, I want to finish. So we're going to make our way to the finish line. So the episode opens up and we're at Joe and Melissa's house. And pretty much Melissa is giving the rundown what happened at the brunch. But before they started talking about the brunch, they have this scene where they're FaceTiming with Antonia. We find out that her major is going to be business management. Melissa was like, does that mean you're going to help me franchise Envy? And Antonia gave her mom that look like, girl, no. Cute. That's cute for you, but not for me. She's also, talking about how she misses having her daughter in the house, because now she's in a house full of boys. Even the dog is a boy. That's understandable, ma'am. So they get onto the brunch, the bougie brunch, which everybody keeps shading. Like, when they bring it up, the inflections in their voices, they think Danielle's a joke. They do. Because honestly, that was not a bougie brunch. It was just sequins, glitter, and steak. She should have just called it that, glitter and steak. That would have ate better than bougie brunch, because nothing about that was bougie. But okay. So they talk about the brunch. Melissa pretty much tells Joe about how Rachel and Teresa got into it, and he's like, oh. And then she brings up how, Danielle brought up about feeling like Jennifer and Teresa set her up. And Joe was like, of course they set you up. Now, honestly, I'm like 40-60. 60% of me is like, yeah, they set you up. But the other 40% of me is like, even if they did set Danielle up, she played into it. Like, you're not going to get me to believe that she was telling Melissa this rumor out the kindness of her heart. She basically wanted to tell Melissa about the rumor because the way Jennifer related to Danielle was like, she got that rumor that they were saying Margaret was perpetuating and talking about it, and she was the one proliferating the rumor throughout like the city. So Danielle was only going to tell Melissa because she wanted Melissa to be mad at Margaret, and she also wanted to be cool with Melissa because Melissa's cute, young, and fly. But to be honest, y'all, it's just kind of like, if you didn't run your mouth, this wouldn't be a thing, because she was going to see it either way. So it is what it is, Danielle. If you got set up, you got set up. Just accept it and move on. If you don't want to be friends with the people, don't be friends with the people. Cool. So then they start talking about Jackie. And, Jackie and Teresa and Jennifer's, the whole friendship thing. And Joe was like, for real? And so pretty much Melissa ends up saying Danielle is starting to realize that, like, you have to be loyal to them, but are they going to have your back? And then she said about Jackie, she says Jackie is only going over there because she got issues with Margaret, and Teresa only wants to be cool with Jackie because she has issues with Margaret. And then Joe says something about, the saying, what can you do for me? I was like, okay. I was like, isn't there more to that saying? But he ain't saying nothing. So I said, oh, okay. But he basically is like, they're both feeding off of each other. And that is true. But what I do find interesting is for them not to be talking about Teresa. The whole episode was about Teresa. And what's interesting to me about this thing is, like, Teresa, whenever they bring up Melissa, she don't even say Melissa's name anymore. She just says my sister-in-law. And that doesn't mean that Teresa hasn't mentioned Melissa by name, but it just seems like production is showing that Melissa is saying more things about Teresa than the other way around. in my opinion. This scene of Jackie going over to Teresa's house. We see Teresa's youngest daughter. We find out that she is now a freshman in high school, the same age as Jackie's son, and that the little girl no longer does volleyball. She doesn't do dance anymore. She does volleyball. So when Teresa was like, I got to go to my daughter's volleyball game, I guess the girl actually had her first game. So Teresa was like, that's more important. And then Jackie was like, no, that's understandable because I didn't want to be there either like that. So then they go sit down in the den area and, Jackie ends up saying, I was glad that Margaret wasn't there. And then Teresa was like, yeah, I was glad Sherlock Holmes wasn't there either. And I didn't get the read. I don't know if she was trying to say that like Margaret is like an investigator, which she is. Margaret is just better. Like Margaret is a busybody. She knows everybody's tea. She's just better at like relaying it as a dig to people and finding out information and not getting caught. Y'all just can't keep up with the lady. But I was like, I hope she wasn't saying that, like taking a shot at Margaret's looks, because I was like, normally when they portray Sherlock Holmes, he's attractive. Even in the Disney rat form, it was a cute rat or a mouse, That was a good, Ratigan. Is it Ratigan? No, that was the evil, that creepy rat looking thing. I'll put the movie on here. But yeah, even Sherlock Holmes as a mouse was cute. So I was just kind of like, I don't get it, girl, but okay. So Jackie ends up saying that like she actually enjoys being around Teresa and Jennifer, that they're like fun, and Teresa's like, of course. Teresa ends up saying something like she loves strong women, and I'm like, do you? Because that doesn't make sense, Teresa. You always be beefing with everybody. She also says something to the effect of like Jackie ends up saying like, if you would have told me like a year ago I'd be cool with Teresa, I would have told you you're lying, but she was like, it's actually nice to hang out with her. Honestly, the whole conversation was kind of awkward, especially when Jackie brung up like, oh my God, Teresa, when you said he was a parking attendant, how did you come up with that? It just felt forced. It felt forced. The conversation didn't flow. I don't know. It does seem like Jackie really does want to be friends with Teresa. Like, I know a lot of people are like, Jackie only wants to be friends with Teresa to keep her spot on the show. But I actually think it's more of like the lady actually wants to be friends with her. I don't know about Teresa really, but I feel like Jackie really wants to be friends with Teresa. And I feel like she thinks if I have to cut ties with Margaret in order to be friends with her, because the scene was kind of awkward, but it is what it is. It is what it is. So then we have this scene of Rachel and John on FaceTime with Margaret. We found out the reason why Margaret wasn't around is that she was in Charleston, South Carolina for her friend's, I think she said 60th birthday. So they were having a good time. They start talking about what happened at the brunch, at Glitters and Steak, which is a better name than Bougie Brunch, I might say. And so Rachel was like, I was telling her, like, what was the reason of you saying that my husband was the biggest drug dealer in Bergen County? And she kept saying, she said was, not is. And she was just kind of like, it is what, like, I wanted the intent behind it. Why did you say it? And then Rachel was like, you're bringing up something that my husband did when he was 17 just to make your husband look good. And he's a grown adult. And so then Margaret ends up saying, yeah, he's a grown adult who lives off of his wife that doesn't have a job. And then the scene cuts off from there. Honestly, y'all, when it comes to Rachel and John, I want to like Rachel because I feel like she could be cool, but I just feel like John is so eager to be in the mess that it's just like, it's off-putting and he's weird to me. I don't know what it is about him, but he's weird to me. I don't know. It's just like the energy that he's giving. It just feels like he's too eager to be in front of the cameras. And maybe that's what I'm picking up. Like it's giving Peter Thomas, but I liked Peter. So I don't know why I don't like John. Because Peter was fun to me. Even though there's sometimes I wanted Peter to shut up. But I enjoyed Peter. I'm not enjoying John, and I don't know why it's not clicking for me, The next scene we get is of Dolores and Paulie. They're talking about what happened at the brunch. And Dolores brings up about how the two new girls who I think were like Danielle's friends, I think one of the girls' name is like Tiffany, the other one's like Lexi or something. Watch that not even be that lady name. They were questioning her about her relationship with Paulie. because Dolores brought up, Frank, going to propose to his girlfriend, Brittany. And so they were like, oh, are you waiting for Paulie to do that to you? Do you want to get married? Like, and you could tell like Paulie is tired of having this conversation, but in all reality, why is it taking you so long to divorce that lady? Like, if you don't want to be with her, like, because I do know there are perks to being married when it comes to like filing taxes and other things of that nature. But like, why don't you want to divorce her? Like, are you afraid she gonna get some of your money? Like, what really is it? Y'all don't even live in the same state, I don't think. And so, Dolores is like, I'd be lying pretty much if I didn't tell you that I'm irritated with this situation. Like, when we moved in, I thought eventually like you would have, did what you were supposed to do, which is divorce her. And Dolores actually brings up David, how she was like, I didn't move in with David because I was like, I'm not moving in with him unless I have like a commitment, which to Dolores means like, we're going to get married, a ring and all of that stuff. But that didn't work out. Honestly, I liked David. I really did. Like, he seemed like he really fit into her family, but he also wasn't giving Dolores what she needed and what she craved in a relationship. So it makes sense why she like let him go. But I just feel like he seems to be a lot better than Paulie, because Paulie's reasoning for not divorcing his ex-wife doesn't make sense to me. Like, and he doesn't really have a good reason. Like, do you just want to stay married to her? And if so, you could probably find somebody out there that would be cool with that arrangement and y'all move forward. You know what I mean? So then Paulie is like, what do you think is going to happen? Like, I'm going to just divorce her and then we going to get married right away. And Dolores' face was like, I would have left him after that, because what we not going to do is play in my face. Now, I know a lot of people are like, well, why does Dolores want to marry him? Like, she's of a certain age. Yeah, but like, I feel like that's not fair. That's why when people talk about marriage, I just tune them out now, because I'm like, yeah, a lot of people are moving away from the social construct of like marriage, like the societal conditioning of like, you have to be married. That's the right way to do it. When we've seen that other people have been successful with just having life partners, or, like what, and I've always been taught, like my parents have always taught me, what works in someone else's marriage works for them. That is their partnership. So if Dolores wants to be married in her 50s, let that lady be married in her 50s. If that's what she wants, that's what she wants. Because what's not making sense to me is Paulie wanting to go into business with Dolores. Like, you want to create this future, you say, but like you don't want to give me what I want. Because I feel like she shouldn't settle. Like, if Paulie doesn't want to divorce his wife, cool. Find somebody who's okay with you not divorcing your wife and y'all being in a relationship and they're being cool. If Dolores wants to get married, then she should find a man that she, values, that she feels is great to be partnered with, and marry them. I feel like it's too many people telling people you shouldn't get married or you should get married. Hell, just do what works for you. Just like that stupid 50-50 conversation. If you want to live that 50-50 lifestyle, do it and be happy. If you want to live the 70-30, the 100-0, do what works for you. Stop listening to everybody. Like that saying, chew the meat, spit out the bone. What works for you works for you. Yeah, yes. I'm just so sick of that conversation. The conversation is so stupid at this point. My God. The meeting of the Jennifers. So it's Jennifer Fessler and Jennifer Aiden. They go out for lunch. And, Jennifer Aiden is telling the Fessler all about what happened at the bougie brunch. And she's like, Teresa and Rachel got into it. Teresa was actually very calm. And she acknowledged the fact that, they talked about the whole drug dealer comment. And Teresa was like, I said was, not is. And then Jennifer Fessler is like, oh my God, that's great. Like, she acknowledged it. But she was like, well, Rachel wanted no parts of that, so it didn't really go anywhere. She also was asking her, Jennifer Aiden is talking about, well, girl, Danielle brought up the whole rumor again, like, did we set her up? And I'm like, no, we didn't set her up. I said, okay, Jennifer. And she was just kind of like, I even told her not to say anything. And she did, but it's like the same can be said, like I said about Danielle. Jennifer brought that rumor to camera because she wanted to make Margaret look like an asshole, but it blew up in her face the same way Danielle wanted to tell Melissa to make Margaret look like an asshole, but it blew up in her face. So it is what it is. She said she also brought up about the whole Lena situation. And she was like, I just felt like Danielle's behavior was just messed up. Like Lena did her a favor. She pretty much was like, she's not, who is she? She don't even need to be over here. And she kicked her out. And honestly, I actually believe what Lena and Jennifer are saying about Danielle, because Danielle pretty much was like at that table at the bougie brunch. She was like, yeah, who was she? Who is she? Like, so you did do it, sis. You did kick that lady out, and you wanted Teresa and Jennifer to have your back in the sense of being like, well, what Danielle did was protocol. They all do that. But you never refuted it, so you did it. And my thing is like, I know I've seen people online be like, well, she didn't have to have the lady in her VIP. The lady opened up her salon for her. Like, it is what it is. And yes, I get some people saying that, but in my book, if I do you a favor, I would expect a favor in return. Like, if you're not going to pay me for doing your hair, like shampooing, curling, and all of that stuff, then the least you could do is let me be at your brunch in the VIP, eating food and drinking and mingling with people. Like, I did you a solid, do me a solid, that to me, I just think is wrong. And you ain't gonna get me to feel no different. They also talked about how Melissa invited Jennifer Aiden to go to her housewarming party. And Jennifer Fess was like, are you going to go? And she was like, yeah, I'm going to go. As long as we already know we're not going to talk about Teresa. We already shared that. And she was like, Jennifer Fess was like, well, does Teresa know you going? And Jennifer Aiden was like, yeah, I didn't, she doesn't know I'm going, but I told her I was invited, but I'm probably going to go, because she was like, me beefing with the Gorgas, it ain't gonna help me none. And what Jennifer pretty much broke the fourth wall, where she pretty much says I got to do what's best for me. I need to film with as many people as I can, not just with you. You're safe. The network is going to protect Teresa. The network sees Teresa as a cash cow because of her fans. I don't have that, so I need to get paid for every scene I'm in, pretty much. And I said, do you, Jennifer? But I will say, Jennifer Aiden and Jennifer Fessler seem like they would be a fun time to go partying with. Like, we done seen Jennifer Aiden get white girl wasted. But the way that they were drinking on that margarita, I would like to vacation with them, because I feel like they would be a good time. Okay, just a lot of laughs and being drunk. We get to see Margaret, and it's a majority of the cast, except for Teresa, Jennifer Aiden, and Jennifer Fessler, going to this charity event called Clubs for Causes, where I guess the proceeds goes to first responders and their families. So it's a nice cause. I was confused why all the other ladies had on green. I know they had on Margaret's like business hat, I forgot how to pronounce her business name, but I just didn't get why everybody had on green. Like, I was waiting for somebody to explain it, and maybe I missed it, because I told y'all the vibes ain't vibing for me, so I probably was in and out, but I just didn't get why everyone had on green. The outfits were cute, but I was just like, why we got on green and she got on pink? Y'all giving us AKA realness, okay? But they're there. They seem to all have a good time, playing with the golf carts. The guys, their husbands came, they played around the golf, and then they all decided to like sit under this tree and have this conversation. And pretty much Melissa brings up like, catching Margaret up on what happened at the brunch. And then Margaret was like, oh, I already know, because Rachel called me. And Rachel was like, yeah, I gave her a rundown. And she was like, everyone's like, so how do you feel about Teresa? And she said, pretty much, I don't have anything else for her. Like, I'm good. There's too much going on in my life. I don't have nothing else to give her. So then they bring up the Paulie of it all, and Dolores pretty much says like, I don't want to move forward with anything else with him and making serious decisions if I don't have like a commitment. And she was like, we talked about the whole ring thing, and he got an attitude. Then he was like, do you expect me to marry you once I get a divorce? And then Margaret was like, you should have said yes, because the week after my divorce was final, me and Joe went to Vegas and got married. I said, well, they wanted to be together, they together. And so she was was like, Paulie is getting a good deal. He needs to like chop. Like, come on now, hurry it up. So then we see the guys talking about it. And Joe is like, I've known Dolores for 5 years, like since we were 5. Like she does not, like she wants to be married. Like she doesn't want to be working, because Paulie brings up like, I'm trying to plan things for our future. We're going to be flipping houses, doing rewiring houses, doing like the electrical and stuff. Like that's what I'm trying to do, build us a future. And Joe in his confessional was like, Dolores don't want to be building nothing. She wants you to be building while she stay at the house in a Rolls Royce drinking champagne. And I was like, I'm with Joe. And then Joe had me tickled when he said, there ain't nothing in that head of his. There is no, because I just feel like, again, like I said, like if he wants to be with someone who's okay with being married, him still being married to his ex-wife, and like y'all living y'all life that way, then like there's probably a person out there for you if you really don't want to divorce her. Just like there's probably a person out there for Dolores. I just feel like he hasn't given us like a legitimate reason why he won't divorce his wife. And I'm like, are you getting like tax write-offs from it? Are y'all businesses intertwined and you don't want to mess them up or like divvy them up? Because you know how they said like how Kyle and Mauricio getting a divorce is a lot, because I think them collectively, or the business collectively he has, is worth like over like $50 million or something like that. So it's like dividing assets is a lot. And sometimes it loses value when you divide it. So I'm like, you not working with that kind of change. So why are we not divorcing this lady? And I'm with Dolores. I wouldn't be making serious decisions like going into business with somebody unless I knew for sure like we had like a solid commitment. Let's talk about Danielle. So it's Fashion Week, bougie kids. Let's go. So we have this scene of her where it's like she's at home and like she's packing and stuff, and she's looking at her outfits that they're about to take to New York. And her husband comes in and he's just like, I'm so excited for you. I'm so proud of you. Like, this is something you've always wanted to do, and it's actually coming to fruition. Like, you did that. And they show a flashback of her working with, I guess, the people that sewed, or the designers that helped her come up with the clothes and stuff like that. And so she's sitting on the floor, and we find out that her mom's not going because her mom and her stepdad, which I thought her parents were still together, but I guess not, are on a European cruise. So they're not even in the country. They in the water somewhere. But her godmother named Rosie Ann is coming. We find out that that's her dad's like first cousin, I think. It's on her dad's side. And so we find out that she's not inviting her dad. She was like, it's going to be too stressful. I'm already stressful. So I stressed as it is. I don't want my dad to make it even worse. And I was just kind of like, how would he make it worse? Because he seems like he's supportive. The way he was crying over y'all, I said, okay. So she didn't want her there, but she really wanted her godmother, Rosie Ann, to be there, because it seems like she has always been the person that champions Danielle, really is like rooting for her to like shoot for the stars. So she really wanted her to be a part of that moment. So they get to New York. We find out that she brought her daughter, and then 2 of her closest friends' kids are going to model in the show as well. And then she's working with a fashion agency that, a modeling agency that gave her 4 other models to help with the show. So they get there. It's a lot of commotion in the background. I used to love, what was that show? Kelly on Earth. I think it was Kelly on Earth, where she was like the behind the scenes of the fashion shows. And I didn't think it took all of that, but it was just so interesting to watch the background stuff. So like, it's a lot going on. Danielle is nervous. She's overwhelmed. It's to be expected. They're getting everybody ready. And again, I'm going to say this, them clothes are not bougie. And I know people keep saying, well, Leah, bougie is a way of mind, a mindset. Yeah, bougie is also an aesthetic. And that is not what Danielle gives. All of those clothes gave very much, I could find that at Walmart. I could find it at Target, Old Navy, Rainbow, Ross, TJ Maxx. Like, and that's not and I'm not saying those places are like bottom tier, but like when I think of bougie, I am thinking of like mid to high end stuff. Like, I want to see like a Chanel jacket. I want, like, in my thing about it is like, if it was going to be bougie kids, I want to see, like, I was expecting to see like kids in like dress, like, you know, nice dress clothes and like casual but dressy clothes, you know? Like I was waiting for a little girl to walk down with like a leather jacket, you know, with a cute little like button up top and maybe a like a bedazzled tie or something and some cute little like jean shorts. That like I'm you bougie. When I think of bougie, that this is not what I expect. That little girl that was in that baseball outfit, I said, what is this monstrosity? But Danielle is excited. We see Melissa and her cousin Nick pull up. They're like her Nate is there, the son is there, the godmom is there. They're all sitting front row. I thought it was kind of sad to see the flashback of when Teresa was there. Gia was sitting beside her. You know, Teresa sitting beside Melissa. Joe's there. They're all excited. You see Antonia and then the boys come down. And it's like, that was in 2016. It is now 2024. Damn. You know, damn. So, it was just nice to see them happy, but it was just like, yeah. But so they start off the fashion show. I guess it was like consecutive like brands going on at once. This one brand comes out and it's giving royal. It's giving Bridgerton vibes. This little girl comes out. She starts ballet dancing. And Danielle is like, where am I? In the Nutcracker? Like Les Miserables? Like, what is going on? And then there's this cute little girl that comes down, like looking like a princess with this beautiful, like golden gown on. I said, they put them in front of you. That was rude. So then we have Danielle's kids come out. They're playing the EDM music. And I'm just like, the kids are cute. Like, all of the kids were cute. It's just that, like, this does not give me bougie. It just doesn't. I will say the little girl standing beside her that says bougie kid with the leopard, maybe. But it's not, the tutu wasn't hitting it for me. It just don't fit for me. But everyone congratulates Danielle. She's happy that Melissa was able to come. And, you know, she was basking in her moment, which she should. And I think it's still interesting because she mentions her family. And I'm just like, Danielle, you really trying to become the next Teresa, where if they do a reboot, we just going to be talking about your family and your family issues. I guess. I mean, work what you can, girl. Between Louis, Teresa, Rachel, and John was so unproductive. It was so unproductive, and it was stupid. It was stupid because they got nowhere, and I feel like. And what's irritating me is y'all got me somewhat. No, I won't say it. It's just that, why am I seeing reason with Teresa? That scares me, y'all, because I don't like Teresa. Like I tell y'all, I'm not a tree hugger. I'm not a gorget. Teresa gets on my nerves. Okay, she has begun like she gets because she's dim-witted, and I just she gets and it's irritating to me for someone at her age not to be able to formulate complete sentences at times. But in this sit down, I was with her and it's scaring me. It's scaring me. So, and it was just so unproductive and it's irritating because I feel like I want to like Rachel, but it's that husband that's irritating me because don't come to a situation where you tell someone, because we find out that John tells Paulie to tell Teresa and Louis, like he's down to have the conversation. John wants an apology from Teresa and from Louis. And so like they sit down, Teresa brings some gift that she wants Rachel and John to give to Joe for his housewarming party because she found that out by way of Jackie. Girl, I don't even know why you brought a gift and is expecting your ops to give the gift. On top of that, if you're not cool with your brother, why are you giving a housewarming gift? If I don't care, I don't want to warm their house with gifts. Like if we at odds. So they sit down. Teresa is like, John is like, yeah, the reason I'm here is because your brother's a stand-up guy. And Teresa was like, well, I thought that's how you felt about me because Louis told me that's how you felt about me. So then Louis irritated me too, just sitting there squinting. Not saying a word, looking red as a lobster. Oh, this conversation irritated me. So they're sitting down and, you know, they start talking. And so I think it was Rachel pretty much saying that she never really felt embraced by Teresa. And Teresa pretty much said, girl, you came in. I don't know why Rachel thought Teresa was going to be cool with her. You came into the show by way of her op, which is Melissa. That lady was not going to try her best to get to know you or to get close to you because she already felt like your allegiance was to Melissa. And why does that bother you? Because clearly you don't like her now. So why does it care that she wasn't cool with you in the beginning? So she's like, so Teresa ends up saying that she was just like, some people in this group are closer than others. Basically saying, girl, you came in by way of my sister-in-law. I don't like that lady, so I wasn't going to be cool with you. So then Teresa ends up apologizing because John ends up bringing up like, well, why did you bring up that I was a drug dealer? And that happened, it's like 20 years ago. And so Teresa was like, that is not what I meant. What I meant was like, you were one. And like, but if that's what you heard, I apologize. So I was like, okay, because Teresa was dancing around the apology, but then she eventually gave him an apology. So I feel like John wasn't expecting Teresa to give him an apology because then he like pivoted the conversation to start getting mad about the whole stuff being put out there by the baby mama. And here's my thing. Y'all can't be solely mad at Teresa and not have your anger towards your baby mama, John, because Teresa is just repeating what's out there publicly that we already knew. That like I did spicy corners about it. And like Teresa said, like it's public. I didn't go digging for it, but I guess they feel like because Louis had a private investigator, maybe they feel like Louis was the one that was prompting the lady to give out information and then put it out there. And so Rachel was like, so then John ends up saying something to the effect of like, y'all are going to believe I went to jail for weed. It's legal now. She's in prison. The baby mama is in prison for making meth. And then Teresa was like, don't do that. That's Jaden's mom. So then Rachel was like, that's not his mom. I'm his mom. So hello. I said, okay, Rachel. Okay. So then John goes on this whole diatribe about how the lady, I guess, caused him to wreck his car. It wrapped around a pole. And then Teresa's like, okay, John, like, I was with her, like, what does this have to add to the conversation? Like, I feel like John came there to have a moment, not to move forward. And so then the energy shifted because then Teresa was like, okay, John, like, I apologize. But John's like, no, I want an authentic apology. You said she apologized. My thing is like, she acknowledged what she did and she apologized, but it wasn't good enough for you. So now you mad about it. So then they start over talking each other. John's like, you don't make the rules. I makes the rules. So then Teresa was like, I'm not following your rules. So then they start arguing. Next thing you know, Teresa was like, I apologize. You owe my husband an apology because you were out here spreading lies about him. So then John was like, we not doing this tit for tat. And I'm like, well, but that's how this all started. So then Teresa's like, I don't throw the first punch. And I was like, that's a lie, Teresa, because you throw a lot of first punches. Ma'am, you throw a lot of first punches. She said, but she was like, y'all throw the first punch. But my thing is like, it is tit for tat. Like John found out about Louis. So he dug up stuff about Louis and started to try to smear him at the reunion. So Teresa came back. So now y'all are doing tit for tat at this point. So then John is like, he was, and then it was weird. It was weird because then Rachel got mute. Louis been mute the whole entire time. And then John ends up being like, see, this is not what we're going to do. He then starts directing his energy towards Louis being like, I wanted to talk to you about this, but I was like, but you said you wanted an apology from both Teresa and Louis. Like you didn't get an apology from Louis, but you got one from Teresa, but all your energy is towards Teresa. So he ends up getting up from the table. Teresa calls him John Fugazi. John says, when I need help, I'll call you for mortgage. You know, you're the poster child for mortgage fraud. And I think he said something about like money laundering. And then Teresa's like, that was my husband, not me. And then as they're walking down the steps, he's like, if she want to fight, I want to fight. Cause you know, I can do this all day. Pretty much. That's what he pretty much said. He was pretty much was like, I like to fight. It is just stupid. It was unproductive and it was stupid because I feel like John came there not to move forward. I feel like if it was just a conversation between Teresa and Rachel, I honestly feel like they probably could have I don't think they would have been cool, but they would have been cordial. But it's like John wants to keep this going. Louis sitting there on mute looking like Larry the Red Lobster, not saying nothing, and then want to say something when John and Rachel are gone. And you see they took the gift too. So I was like, but I don't think they gonna be giving it to them because I just saw a sneak peek and I think they drank that drink at their house. Because I saw a sneak peek where they were at the housewarming where Rachel is debriefing Melissa about it and they didn't bring the bottle. So y'all got into an argument, took the lady's bottle and drank it anyway. Mess. End of the episode. So yeah, y'all, that is it. That is all. Remember to be bravely authentic and definitely hop down in them comments below. And I'm out, y'all. Deuces.